to express or try to provoke the kind of argument we don't want between the majority and minority. You have your opinion, we respect that, we have our opinion. So how do we resolve that? By voting. Now, if you think we violated the rule, then go to court. But we do not think that we violated the rule. It is very clear. So my point of order, Madam Chair, they're out of order by insisting that there's another rule except for 136. So I move that we vote on it, Madam Chair. We divide the House.
Objection. Objection.
If there's an objection, then we vote.
Okay.
So may we proceed with the vote, Madam President?
Mr. President, I was earlier, it was the manifestation of the presiding officer, the Madam Chairperson, that after Senator Lacson, I be allowed to speak, Mr. President. Are we now curtailing my right to speak, Mr. President?
Madam Chair,
We are
can I
not able
answer
to
that?
ask questions as to why we are amending the rules. We are not able to ask questions as to who they wish,
Madam Chair, may I answer?
who will benefit from the amendment to the rules.
For the
Is this
kind
rule, Mr.
information
President?
of
Is this
the-
rule, Mr. President, for
I was
Senator
about to
Bato, who is not
recognize
here?
Senator
We would
Pangilinan.
like to raise these valid questions, Mr. President, before we go into a vote, Mr.
Madam Chair.
President.
Yes,
These,
Madam
we should not be...
How can the
ar-
presiding officer recognize Senator Pangilinan? Please know that I would never curtail your right to speak. Just as in 2004, I believe you were seated, and I was a vice presidential candidate of FPJ then, and my microphone was closed, and my right to speak was closed, was not given. I remember that time now, and the word noted was said to me. That will not happen now. I will not do that to you. And I'm not curtailing your right to speak, Senator Pangilinan, except that you were speaking at the same time. And I was about to recognize you because Senator Lacson had the floor.
Thank you, Madam President, for
So
that
I just wanted to
clarification.
be clear on record because I
If-
recognize you're being emotional, but it will go on Senate record that the presiding officer was curtailing your right to speak. I would never do that. And I would not do what I experienced in 2004 in the House of Representatives in the canvassing of the votes then.
Mr. President.
Thank you.
Madam President, with due respect, Mr. President, I was
I'm
not
yielding-
referring to the
Madam
presiding
President,
officer.
Yeah, I'm yielding the floor to Senator Pangilinan.
Yes, thank you,
you.
Senator Lacson. We recognize Senator Francis Pangilinan.
Yes, Mr. President, and allow me to clarify, Madam President. I was not referring to the presiding officer in terms of the curtailing of my right to speak and to raise questions, Mr. President, because it was the Senate President who was moving to divide the House, Mr. President, without sufficient debates. Mr. President, this is the first time I'm going to experience this in a long time wherein debates are now being curtailed because there's a
Since you're
motion
not
to
being
divide the House.
curtailed, we would like to...
It's a, kumbaga sa libro, iba yung love language, but I don't think they're meant to be any offense. Having said that, we're only discussing whether we will take up the amendment or not. And we have exhausted already all the arguments. This is a simple motion, so I move that we divide the House. May I reiterate my motion. Then we can go into the merits and they can try to convince us whether or not we agree. So the motion is to take up the amendment to our rules as proposed by Senator Marcoleta. The objection is that it is not in order because we did not follow our own rules.
Madam Chair, Madam President,
Before that,
Madam President,
yes, we recognize Senator Erwin Tulfo.
Madam President, my question is, why is the majority in such a hurry to tackle this motion? This allowing a senator for justifiable reasons to attend and participate in the session through teleconference, whereas in Rule 14, Section 41, under B, it is convenient to hold the session through teleconference, video conference, or other reliable forms of remote or electronic means using appropriate information and communications technology system due to force majeure, Madam President, or the occurrence of a national emergency. I guess, Madam President, this justifiable reason, what is that? Does that fall under force majeure or does it fall under national emergency, Madam President? My question
Madam
is,
Chair.
why are we in so hurry? Why are they, the majority, in a hurry to tackle this motion and divide the House, Madam President? We need answers in the minority.
Madam Chair.
Or is it because, Madam Chair, they're in a hurry because of news reports that probably two of our colleagues might land in jail this weekend? Is that the reason why? Is that the reason why they have to have this inserted, the Section 41C, para makaboto po kung sino man yung makukulong dahil sa announcement ng ombudsman na may lalabas na po ang warrant ng ilan sa mga kasama natin, Madam President? That is my question, Madam
Madam
President.
Chair, the
We recognize
gentleman
Senator-
is out of
Senate President.
order because his question sa nagmamadali, bakit, can be discussed in the actual motion. Can be discussed after the motion whether we should take it up. We take offense that bibigyan niya ng ganyang kulay. It's just like us saying, are you afraid if we have the hearing on the Blue Ribbon on flood control, mababanggit ka rin? You do not make that kind of statements here in the Senate because you assume good faith from everyone. That rule hindi minadali. May 11 pa ho yun. So Madam Chair, I move that we divide the House.
And the voting will be...
Dun eh. 10, including myself. I mean,
Yeah.
no? Kasama doon isang governor, incumbent to, isang incumbent governor, isang incumbent congressman, isang dating congressman, retired na congressman, no? Tapos yung iba puro private, I mean either businessmen or they're already in the private sector. So, tinanong ko rin, nag-usap din kami after that meeting, bakit kaya binulgar ni Ping sa atin yon? I mean, we asked ourselves, bakit kaya? And the consensus was, siguro gusto niyan ilabas yan. Ayaw lang niya na siya ang maglabas. No? Para meron siyang element of deniability. And pangalawa, since malapit siya kay Tito Soto, ayaw niyang ilabas.
Correct.
Baka ganon. Kaya, alam naman niyang sumusulat ako ng kolom kasi
Oo,
kung minsan
yeah.
nagpapasalamat siya pagka binanggit ko siya. Alam din naman niya na nai-interview ako every now and then. So, you know, bakit?
hindi niya
diba?
sinabing wag
Bakit?
niyo
Oo.
ikwento.
At wala siyang sinabing privileged communication to. Wag niyo, atin-atin lang ito.
Yeah.
Wag nang lalabas. Wala siyang sinabing ganun eh. So, I thought, naniwala ako na gusto niya ipalabas.
Correct.
Kaya lang, parang intentional leak. No? So, ganun na nangyari. Kaya sinulat ko and then nagpa-interview ako later on that issue. Ngayon, events came so fast. Sinabi niya, that's all. Kasi ito naman si Senator Amy, nabasa yata nung staff niya yung column ko, pinabasa sa kanya. Tumawag sa akin si Senator Amy. Hoy, sabi niya, dito, sino source mo? Sabi ko, hindi ko sasabihin ng source ko, kako. Wala ako sasabihin ng source, kako. Basta kako, yan, nangyari yan, kako. Ganon. And I said nga, 10 kami doon, no, na nag-uusap-usap. No? Apparently, itong, based on, ngayon ko rin lang, kahagabi ko rin lang, o kahapon ko rin lang nakita yung video na pinresent ni Sen. Amy sa Senado, parang meron siyang ibang sources. No? Hindi
correct.
lang ako kasi may mga dinagdag na siya. Nagulat ako doon sa sinabi niyang 50 years old itataas ang voting, ang qualification for president and vice president to 50 years old. So, nagtaka ako. Ayoko naman tanungin siya tungkol doon. Bakit 50 years old? Baka meron siyang information na gano'n. So, nag-Google ngayon ako nung 1973 Constitution nung tatay niya. Nakita ko doon, nung palang 1973 Constitution, there was a provision that the age qualification of a candidate for president is 50 years old on the day of the filing of candidacy. Hindi on the day of elections. Kasi I remember then, si Ninoy Aquino, nanalo sa Senado pero he would not be, he was short of from, kasi birthday niya November 27 eh. Ang election first Monday of November. So nung binoto siya ng tao, hindi pa siya 35. 35 siya November 27 pa. Pero nanalo siya sa Supreme Court and so he was allowed to be proclaimed as senator. So kitang-kita mo si Presidente Marcos talagang parang sinisiguro niya na kung magkaroon man ng eleksyon sa 1973 na hindi na siya pwedeng tumakbo, hindi magpa-qualify si Ninoy.
Oo, correct.
So baka ako doon nakuha ni Amy yung 50 years old. I don't know. No? Kung ano. Pero I also talked to some congressmen, hindi ko na babanggitin kung sino, na kinonfirm nila na meron ngang mga ganong alingas-ngas sa Kongreso na term extension na lang ng 3 years, ganon. So, yun ang nangyari dyan. Mabuti naman at kagabi o kahapon, inamin na nila
Oo, inamin na pala.
kung pati yung kung saan nag-meeting, no? Hindi sa East Ocean, kundi sa Soler. At kung ano yung pinag-usapan, no? Exactly as they themselves
At
said.
saka, Chair Lito, naniniwala kasi yung mga tao because the distrust rating of BBM is very low and his trust approval rating is also down under. Naniniwala sila na capable ito si BBM gang na para walang eleksyon dahil wala naman siyang kandidato na pwedeng manalo na siguruhin nila na mapalitan ng konstitusyon para wala ng eleksyon. Pero ito po talaga ang ibig sabihin dyan, talaga napakawalang hiya po talaga ng mga taong ito. Pag ginawa nyo yan, talagang mga walang hiya kayong kakapal nyo. Mahiya kayo sa mga tao na umaasa na magkaroon na ng reforma at dito sa bansa natin through another election. Buti nga hindi revolusyon election. Tapos ngayon, ang senaryo gusto nyo, para walang eleksyon, sinasabi ko, ito ang paniwala ko kaya naniniwala ang mga tao. Pero sa kakapalan ng mukha nyo, gusto nyo pa, kayo mag-i-extend kayo ng term ninyo at si Bongbong mag-i-extend din ng term. Usually, pag nag-amendment ka sa term, hindi yan nag-a-apply sa incumbent. O, sino magdebate sa akin na may president kayo na pag nagpalit ng term nag-a-apply sa incumbent? Kaya yung napakakapal ng mga mukha nyo. Kung itutuloy nyo yan, talagang protesta ng tao ang aabutin nyo dyan araw-araw. Kaya naman naging controversial itong mga sinabi ni Mr. Lito Banayo Dahil naniniwala ang tao na capable kayo na gawin yan sa taong bayan.
Commissioner.
Kaya hindi yan haka-haka dahil inamin na nila, di ba? Inamin na nila.
Commissioner Bing, ako, since ang sinabi, term extension lang ng senador at ng congressman, hindi ko sinama yung presidente. Ngayon, tumawag uli sa akin si Senator Amy dahil sinabi niya na nagpe-prepare siya ng video presentation. Humingi siya ng permiso, pwede bang gamitin ko yung excerpts nung iyong interviews? Sabi ko, of course, public knowledge naman yan, kako. Tapos tinanong ko siya. This was about 5 days before Monday. Last week, mga Thursday yata yun or Wednesday. Sabi niya, magpi-privilege siya. Tinanong ko siya, sabi ko, bakit po sinabing pati presidente term extension? Wala naman ako sinabing ganon. Ang sagot niya, ikaw naman Lito. Sabi niya, ikaw naman Lito. Para ka naman bagito dito. Sabi niya, meron ba naman mag-extend na, amiendahan din na yung constitution. I-extend yung senador, i-extend yung congressman. Maniniwala ka ba hindi pa nila isasali yung presidente? So yun yung dahilan kung bakit siguro sinabi niya yung presidente rin.
At ang kanyang privilege speech ay pina-strike out from the record ni Risa Ontiveros.
At saka ako, nagtataka lang ako na how aggressive they are, no? Kasi nung nagsasalita, yung presentation naman ni Senator Amy, hindi naman yung sinabing lahat. Actually, sinabi niya nga kung sino yung nag-meeting. Hindi niya sinabi na si Senator Mixoviri, hindi niya sinabi si Risa Hontiveros, hindi niya, basta sila Kiko, wala siyang binanggit na pangalan nila. But rather, si Senator Soto lang, at saka yun nga, si Speaker Boji D, no? And iba pa. Doon ako na talagang, to nangyari? Parang lahat sila nag-react ng todo-todo.
Siyempre defensive na sila.
Oo,
kasi
yun
dyan ngayon sa Senado, ang tingin ko dyan, the line has been clearly drawn. Wag na kayo magpa-X pa kung sa mga sword speaks pa. Wala nang itsosan. Sa totoo lang, it's a war. You have declared war on each other.
Hindi, tsaka Mama Bing, nakakaano kasi yung sitwasyon na tama yun, normal na nagkakaroon ng palitan, di ba, Chair Alito? Ang nagiging nakakagulat lang is how they reacted nung bigla silang
Personal,
napalitan.
no?
Super personal. At araw-araw talaga meron silang sinasabi. To the point na sinabi nila na bumaba ang credibility at integridad ng Senado dahil napalitan. Kaya alam mo, doon ako sobrang disappointed. Kasi sa totoo lang, ang pinaka nagpababayan, for me, akin to, is dahil hindi nila tinatapos ng maayos or iniimbestigahan ng maayos ang flood control scam projects.
Kaya
Iniiwasan.
nasira si Ping Lacson
Yes.
Sa akin lang doon nasira na nagduda ng mga tao na nag-compromise si Senator Ping Lacson. At yan ay isang kababalaghan kung sa Tagalog pa.
Actually, Mama Bing, even if you see my post ng bagong upo niya, tapos diba, siya nag-start 67 congressman na kasabwat.
Paano ito ni Ping Lacson si Kati Binag
so nung nag-uumpisa yung
Ping
pinost ko
Lacson
pa.
for president.
Yung ano pa talaga, yung nag-post pa ako na, oh, this is so exciting. Sigurado ako na talagang paglalaban ni Senator Ping. Kaya nagkaganito, ako na ngayon yung number one, isa sa matitinding ano niya, critic.
Oo.
Kritiko, dahil nasasaktan din ako. Dahil yung naniwala ako na maninindigan siya para sa bayan, ngayon na ano siya, hindi ko maintindihan.
Baka dahil kasi retiring na siya, Kati. Sinabi niya na magre-retire na ako.
Pero